Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Tatiana Creeley here. I'd like to have another beautiful patching story this morning. We have a very special guest, and we've got Trey Holweger here, who's giving us some insights into his patching story. He's only 19 years old. So before we get to his very interesting and amazing story, I'll just introduce myself a little bit. So, as I said, my name is Tatiana Creeley. I've been a bone therapist for many, many years, and I've started out actually in the gym as well. That's the topic we're talking about today. So my main profession was fitness instructor, aerobics instructor, and yeah, was working full time in the gym. And I ended up being a Pilates instructor, and I was teaching yoga a little bit for a while as well. So yeah, training has been quite a big part of my life. Maybe not to the extent that some other people train, but it's always been present, I might say. So living healthy and being active to a degree has been a big part. So yeah, then after doing bone therapy for over 20 years, I've never looked for anything else. That was my profession when it comes to the natural health and healing. And I always had the results I wanted. I didn't need anything different. I was interested in other things, but I never looked for anything else. But as we know, we talk about something different today. So in March this year, I got introduced to these beautiful little stickies, the patches. So they are really quite incredible in what they can do for our body. They're a patented nanocrystal technology in the white part in the middle, as you can see here in the middle. And the white part acts like a mirror. So when our body heat comes and hits the patch that's on the patch just sits basically, anywhere on the body. So the infrared light goes onto the patch, and we have a mirror in the patch, and oops, then the patch mirrors that heat, that frequency. In a specific frequency, it goes back into the body. And this is the magic part. This is the key to the whole thing. So what happens in the body? Our own copper peptides are elevated when this frequency goes into our body. What I really, really like about it, that they are non-invasive, nothing goes into your body, and there's no chemicals, no medication, nothing that really interferes. It's really just light and a frequency. So that's pretty awesome. And they're super, super easy to use. Everyone can use it. So from my side, I was really stoked when I heard about it, and I thought I have to give them a go. Before I go any further, I just like to make sure that, I'm not a doctor, and the information you hear today is only for informational purposes. So please make sure that you go back to your doctor, to your healthcare provider, if you have any questions, or if you like to try the patches, and make sure you check in with them. The information is not to treat, to diagnose, or to cure. As I said, only information purposes only. And yes, so. How do we use them? We just pop them on the body, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And that's pretty much the simple approach. But we go a little bit more into detail about how you can actually use them for a specific purpose. And that's why we've got Trey here today. Make sure when you listen with two hats, with your own and with maybe someone you care about, so you feel you can share the information, or you can invite this person to another Zoom call and find out about it. And make sure that you do go back to the person who invited you to this call, because if you have any further questions, these people or this person will help you to answer your questions. But for now, if you have questions while we're on, please make sure you put them in the chat, and in the last 10 minutes, we can have your questions answered as well. All right, so we come to our special guest today. We've got Trey here today, Trey Holweger. As I said, he's only 19 years, and he has had some really interesting patching experiences already, and much longer than me. I've only been patching for 5 months at the moment, so I'm very keen to hear what he has to say. Trey, are you there?
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
here.
beautiful. Ready to start? I'll just ask you a few questions, and we just
Yep.
yeah, run through the show. Can you please introduce yourself, Trey, and tell us a little bit about yourself, and why, and like who you are, and why and how you got started with these beautiful little stickers we talk about today?
Yeah. My name is Trey Holweger. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm 19 years old. I work in Lifewave's business as an SPD. And basically, how I got started with this is I was introduced by my mom, Dr. Stacy, and I was playing basketball at the time. I was 16, so I've been on these patches for about 3.5 years now. I'm 19, almost 20. And I was playing basketball for my high school, and my mom said, "Why don't you just try these?" And I always listen to what my mom says, so I tried them, of course. And she started me on a patch called Energy Enhancer, trying to improve my game in the basketball court because obviously I don't need it at that point for anti-aging because I'm already so young. And I began to see tremendous effects on stamina and my speed down in the court. And I started lifting weights around that time. And so I got interested with that and I started using the patches and trying all the patches to see which ones would help the most with lifting weights. And yeah, that's how I got started with the patches.
That's wonderful. So a bit of trial and error. And actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that obviously it is a big topic for age reversing since your stem cells are still quite happy and up and running, sort of thing. Yes, use what you need at the time. So energy enhancer. I didn't have a chance to try energy enhancer yet. That's a very interesting one. So how do you use the patches currently, and which ones are your favorite ones at the moment?
Yeah, so like I said, I've done trial and error with each one, trying to hone in on which ones would help with weightlifting. And so currently I use them with my bodybuilding endeavors. And I've found that X49 and carnosine have been my favorite for specific reasons. X49 for the muscle building benefits that it shows, and carnosine for the fat burning benefits that it also shows.
Wonderful. So you actually not using the X39, you're just having these two as a combo, the
Yeah,
X49? Yeah,
so currently I just do X49 and carnosine. I've done obviously X39 in the past, but right now that's just what I've been on.
right. Are you happy to share? Do you have favorite spots where you put them?
Yeah, so I put them around your waist. I put them on both sides of my waist. I find it's very easy to take on and off. I hardly notice they're there. No hair interfering. So that's where I found is the best spot that I like to put them.
Oh, this is hilarious because that's what my husband's doing. He says, I don't like it here and I don't like it on the belly button. There's too much hair. So he always puts it on the side, on the waist. So
Yep. Yep.
obviously, good hint for the guys, actually. Very handy. Great. So I do have some more info here, some slides again as well about your gym experience. So that's the fun part, the interesting part as well. We would like to know. So can you maybe explain a little bit what we can see here. I'll just share the screen. Hang on, I'll just pop that up a bit bigger right here. So
Yep.
obviously this is you. So let us know maybe a little bit about your experience, the 2 years patching, your
Yeah,
favorites.
so the picture on the left, you can see I was around probably 16, almost 17 there, and I started patching. But when I started patching a year ago from that picture on the left, it was just for basketball. So when I picked up weightlifting, that was about 6 months into weightlifting. From like I did a little on and off for basketball, but bodybuilding training about 6 months in on the left there. And fast forward 2 years to the right, where I've been utilizing the X49 and carnosine after I tried all of the different patches, what I saw, what I liked the best. You can see on the right what I looked like. And that was around 8 months, almost a year ago. So I've gotten a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and you can see the current bench squat and deadlift. I've gotten also stronger since then as well, and it's just been consistent gains. As a natural, it is definitely hard to keep getting consistent gains. A lot of my friends have plateaued, and it's just I'm glad that this has been able to facilitate my natural gains over the past 4 years.
That's amazing. I mean, look at the numbers, they pop up. So you said a lot of your friends have plateaued. Have they wondered why you keep going, or have they tried a patch and could change, or how did
Yeah,
it work?
so definitely a lot of my friends have wondered why when I've slowly grown up, and a lot of them thought, and a lot of strangers thought that were people that were my age, they thought I was on steroids. They thought I was on SARMs. They thought I was on anything that could potentially enhance and boost my natural physique. And that just wasn't the case. And for the people that were my friends and they wanted to know what I was doing, of course, I told them. And so a couple of my friends are trying it out themselves and seeing good results as well. So.
Okay, so it's not only you who turned out to be Superman. Everybody,
Mhm.
as they say, as long as you have stem cells, or as long, I don't know, as long as you put the patch on at the end of the day, as long whatever it activates. I mean, the patches obviously activate different things. So you're the one you prefer, the X49 activates the AHK, doesn't it? So, yes. The weight gain, and I'd just like to elaborate or ask you to elaborate a little bit more about the gaining weight and fat loss. So I think that's the one where the X49 really stands out and what makes it really quite interesting. Would you like to go
Yeah.
a little bit more into detail about that?
Yeah. So what I know about gaining weight and losing weight and fat loss is all been through the gym. I know how to bulk and I know how to cut. And that's a main thing that in people as naturals, you have to go through that cycle. If you want to consistently gain muscle, you have to go through the bulking and cutting cycle of gaining some fat as well along the way. And I found that carnosine has been a way to mitigate some of this fat gain, and X49 as well has been able to increase my muscle mass as like while I'm bulking and also while I'm cutting to allow me to retain the muscle mass that I've gained a lot easier than it would be without.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so it's a really supportive tool for you to just get to your results much quicker and easier. Mm. Okay. Do you feel like when you actually work out that I think I've got a smoke alarm here beeping at the moment. It's never done this in 15 years. Excuse me about that. So when you do when you do your training, does the training actually feel, I don't know, any different for you? Like, do you
On
feel
the
like,
X49 and carnosine, the training in general does not, I don't feel like any significant gain in like the short term. Obviously, the long term, I do feel the strength gain. I mean, you can see it in the numbers. I'm lifting more weight.
yeah,
I'm looking bigger when I look at myself. I'm gaining more weight easily without less fat gain. So no, in the short term, like in a single session, I don't feel any difference. The
yeah,
patches that I've seen a difference in a single session is energy enhancer. You
yeah.
feel more energized. I feel like taking a caffeinated pre-workout, which I don't like to do because it's really bad for your heart. So energy enhancer, you feel like a caffeinated pre-workout is what you just take.
Ah, yeah, fantastic. That's very good to know. Um, Recovery times. It's another topic which is important, I reckon. I just started training myself and I did something new and I didn't have the carnosine ready. So I might need to try that soon as well, what the difference would be if I have the carnosine, because I know you love the carnosine. What would you like to add to that?
Yeah, so the patches are a good start for wanting good recovery. Obviously, need to drink enough water and have enough sleep for them to be any like help at all. Because if you don't have those two things, then the patches aren't going to be much of use when you're trying to recover your muscles. But from the past years that I've been lifting, I've always been able to hit every muscle group at least twice per week and be fully recovered every time I hit them, as long as I'm getting my water in, and half your body weight in ounces is a good rule of thumb, and 8 hours of sleep every night. The patches I feel have expedited my recovery process.
Yeah, wonderful. That's amazing. 8 hours sleep is an important topic, I'd say. So, I guess that's one thing a lot of people need to focus on as well, that we do actually have other components that help us feel better and, yeah, have a better lifestyle. Because, I mean, if we only get the whatever an average of 5 hours, it makes a huge difference. The body hasn't got the time to repair, I'd say. Definitely. Um, Other supportive supplements. Is there anything else? I know there's big topics in the gyms. I mean, as I said, I worked full time in the gym as well. There's all these different bottles around and bits and pieces you can pick and choose. How do you feel about that? Is there anything that you add as well, or would you like to recommend or say?
Yeah. So I've used many different supplements through the years, but the supplements that I currently use, well, for one, the D3 vitamins I've used my whole life, first of all, and I still use them. As well as fish oils, I use them. I've been using them ever since I've been training. It's really good for your joints. So fish oils, those two I've been using the whole time. A couple other supplements as far as ashwagandha, shilajit, and lion's mane. Those three that I've cycled on and off of using, I find that they're really good for mental clarity and brain fog. So those are some other supplements that I use, but I don't use a ton of other supplements, but those 4 to 5 I'll use on a daily
Okay.
basis.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. Right. And I might just pop up the next slide because I know what I'm asking first, healing injuries. So I'll just show the next slide. You had also some experience. Here we go. With healing injuries. Obviously, the patches are very, the body is so, how to say, there's so many versatile uses of using the patches, and it doesn't matter how old you are. So, in one part is performance in whatever you do, with especially what you've been sharing with us, but also obviously we're talking about recovery and wound healing and all these sort of topics as well. So yeah, when you look at these photos here, would you like to share with us what happened here?
Yeah. So in this photo is one of the injuries that I've used patches to recover from. This is when I got my lip busted open playing basketball. Teammate, their elbow came down, hit my lip and busted it open. And I used X39, X49, glutathione, and carnosine all on my face throughout a period of time of over about a month, and I went and got it down to very minimal. And over the next 4 to 6 months, it was completely gone. You can't see it on my lip anymore. And I never got stitches, and there's, I mean, barely a hairline of a scar. So it's not visible. And I would say that it really helped. And another injury that I actually had was during basketball game. I came down and landed wrong on my ankle, and it's not here, but I badly sprained it, and I used the same 4 patches, and I was off my crutches in 2 days. I was walking in 2 days, and I was completely back on the basketball court in about 4 months.
Wow.
And that was another time that I used it, and it completely expedited the process of healing.
Amazing. That is amazing. So it's really good to know when you can use the patches. I mean, I just had my son had an injury on the trampoline, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Ice wife, pop it on and do whatever you need to do. And from crying, he went, oh, he moved his knee. I mean, the recovery needed a little bit of time, but still, he just went switch. It was pretty amazing. Ice wife and Aeon popped it on. Wonderful. Whoops, what happened? Here we go. Let's get out of this one. Okay, well, thanks for that. So we do have um, another big topic, which is a little bit different to the gym, is your business building. You are the youngest SPD, this youngest senior presidential director in 20 years LifeWave, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, considering you obviously have been, I don't know, brought up as a as a networker already, as far as I remember. And why? What got your interest in in going along with it, not only using it on your body, but also saying, well, I'm sharing this, I'm sharing with the world, and not only with a few people, but my God, you have done extremely well. So congratulations on that. And we all we all look at this like, let's see what Trey is doing next. So yeah, share with us, please. Why did you get doing that?
Yeah, so I was born and bred basically into network marketing. My mom's been doing it ever since I was a baby. So I would go to her and I would see what she's doing. I would go to events with her, and I would miss school to go to events. And it's always something that I wanted to do when I was young. But then when I was getting out of high school, or my last year of high school, I was a little bit more curious as to what she was doing because I was almost a legal age and actually been able to join for myself. So we actually went to a European conference in France and I got to see some people speak, and that's when I got really curious about it. And I actually signed up when I turned right the day I turned 18 and started messaging people because I saw what was potential. I saw what my mom was doing and I wanted to do it as well because I've been practicing my whole life for it. So it came to me pretty much second nature.
Yeah, right. So you're obviously enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's cool because I mean, um, networking, you see a lot of people, they have done all sorts of different things or they have been in networking for a long time, but starting out with a young age like you do, you don't see that too often, but I guess a lot of times they're literally born into this. So when you think of other people, especially people in your age, what would you recommend to people in whoopsie in your age, especially when they look for opportunities? And what would you say to them when it comes to
Well,
networking?
I would say for people my age looking for opportunities, I would say anything to do with social media, anything to do with the internet is very undersaturated as of right now. It's relatively new on the grand scheme of things, and any business model that pertains to social media or being able to monetize something through social media would be a very good and smart way to go about a career path. And just to see that there's so many more ways you can make money than there was 15 years ago, and just to be open to that.
Definitely, definitely. And you get to know a ton of people, don't you? Do you feel like you actually talk to a lot of people your age as well? Like when it comes to the team you've been building, is it a mixed, or do you feel like you're talking a lot in the younger age as well? How would you say that?
Um, there is a couple people in the younger age, but I would say the great majority would be 40 to 50 plus, definitely a few generations older than
Yeah.
me. But I get to talk to a lot of people, and talking to people in that generation, I get a lot of wisdom that I wouldn't get from people my age, a
Hmm.
lot of good insight, and I definitely value a lot of the things that they've been saying to me. And I'm glad that I get to talk to so many people that are like-minded as me.
That's amazing. Yeah. Hopefully I can get to talk to you personally one day as well when we do our own journeys. I've been to you in Florida,
Mhm.
aren't you?
Yep.
Yes, so it's been what, 30 years ago I was in Florida, but I didn't know you back then yet, and you weren't really quite around. So yeah, one day, I'm sure. We've got some questions here in the chat. So Wendy's checking. Do you use them both during the day, both your patches, I think the X39 and the X49 and the carnosine, both during the day, every day, or the carnosine just after the workout?
I use the X49 and carnosine. I put them on in the day and I take them on at night, take them off at night. So it's a 12-hour cycle. Right when I get up, I put them both on.
Okay, so only these two. And I actually saw, do you use other patches in certain situations when you need them? Like I think I saw or heard something about the
Yes.
glutathione.
Certain situations, like if I have pain, I'll definitely utilize Ice Wave. And if I feel really tired, which I don't usually feel like tired enough, but I'll use Energy Enhancer in very certain occasions, which I think if people are a lot older than me, that they could find a lot more occasions to utilize Energy Enhancer. But yeah, if there's a time where I'm very, very tired, I put on Energy Enhancer as well.
Okay. And did you mention the glutathione? Sorry, I just missed that. Did you?
Yeah, I use glutathione and Eon as well when I was recovering from injuries, but I
Right.
don't actively use them every day, which I have used them in the past on and off.
Yeah. So you're literally running mainly on two patches.
Yeah, just because I've tried them all and I know exactly what I want to use them for and get
Hmm.
out of it, and it's through my passion of the gym. I go
Yeah.
every single day. It's like my favorite thing, so that's what I'm completely focused on.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Thanks. Excellent. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're nearly done. Apologies. I don't know if you hear this, but my smoke alarm, as I said, I can't even turn it off because it's up like 3 meters above me. So I'd have to do a major jump to get this to turn off. Um, yes. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to leave for the people in general? Someone who has never touched a patch yet, someone who's starting out and who might not know where to start. Any advice from that
Yeah,
point?
I would say trying to figure out where to start. Like me, I didn't really know where to start when my mom first introduced this to me. So think about, what do you like to do? Or is it a sport? Is it a physical activity? You can kind of hone in on those patches. You can see which ones do which. Is it anti-aging? Do you want to purely for the anti-aging? You can look at patches that do that. Is it healing? Is it, energy enhancement, or is it pain? Like, just look at basically what do you want to get out of this and go from there.
And go from there. Beautiful. Can I ask you personally, was there a maximum amount of patches that you have been wearing on your body yet? Like
Yeah,
how?
I've had, I think it was 7 when I was
Wow.
recovering from my ankle injury. I had 7 on one ankle. So that was
Wow.
the most I had.
Okay. So that was just situation, like according to the situation when you needed a time to get a quick recovery.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, wonderful. That's amazing. Right, there's no further questions in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to let them out now because this is your opportunity to talk to Trey. He's got a wealth of expertise. As I said, I've been only patching for 5 months, and Trey's got 3 years. That's a long time. So maybe this is my opportunity to ask, when do you stop?
Never. I don't have an end date on this. No way. I mean, if it's not about for me to anti-age at this point, but it's more so to not age in the first place. So if I can just do this indefinitely, I mean, I don't see anything that could come out of this that would be like bad at all. So yeah, I have no end date on this.
That beautiful. Do you can you say something to detoxing? I know I saw that you started out with actually just getting rid of toxins and stuff. Did you feel personally any detox responses for yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel pretty in tune with my body. I've done a lot of detoxes because of my mom. So basically anything she would say, I would do. So I'm definitely in tune to different detoxes, and I would say this is one of the ones that I definitely do like doing. And what my mom likes to say is cleaning out the cobwebs. For like the first few months that you use them, you're just cleaning out the cobwebs. In other words, just like prepping your body for what it's about to endure with the new influx of stem cells. So,
Mm,
yeah.
beautiful. And you did that with the X39 and Aeon, didn't you?
Yes, X39 is a key factor in that.
Yeah, so that's what we usually recommend. If you start out, just get the baseline sorted, start with X39 and Aeon, and then yeah, pick and choose, as Trey said, see what your goals are, what you want to achieve at the end, and then you just add what you need to or swap around. The X49 is one I was able to use in Germany. Australia doesn't get X49, so you have to find someone who's from Germany, who knows people in Germany. Like me, for example, to be able to get your hands on the X49. It's a really interesting. It's the latest patch that's been introduced from David Schmidt. And so the Alavida is the other one that is not available in Australia, which is one of my favorites. I'm sleeping with my patch on the forehead and it looked really exciting, but I got up this morning. My husband was like, "You better take your patch off before you go on the Zoom." So I love the Alavida as well. But yeah, so there's as we know, there's so many exciting little stickers around. I think one important thing is I always like to keep it as simple as possible. So don't get confused if you haven't looked into anything yet. We always start slow, one step at a time. One or two, and then don't worry about the rest. If you don't want to have any information overload because the body doesn't need it, because we're pretty busy with what we can start out with, aren't we? So yes, our time's up. Thank you so much, Trey. I really appreciated your time coming on tonight, your night, our morning. And I'm sure a lot of people will find your information very helpful. So this is recorded and I will share this and pass it on to the people who are keen to learn and find out more about it. And you want to finish off with the last sentence? Let me say goodbye.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for having me. I hope a lot of people get a lot of beneficial information out of this video. I definitely tried my best to elaborate as best as I could. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got some thank yous in the chat. Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate your time and you have an amazing, magical day. Don't forget, you're more powerful than you think. Thanks. Bye bye.